Welcome back everybody to the Wandering Samurai Study, in which we review and analyze every single act told in Rurouni Kenshin, and today's act is Act 11, The Ribbon That Binds. I think that at some point it's probably going to get a little bit cliche for me to say that, oh, I love this chapter. I really enjoyed this chapter. God, Rurouni Kenshin is the best. I think it's going to get to that point at some point, and I think that I'm probably already getting there because I love this chapter. It's just that so much good happened here. It's like so many things are beginning to develop here, and it's just as we begin to see the series cultivate or progress through the narrative, we begin to start seeing the little threads that will ultimately have their payoffs in later arcs and stuff. And I think that a lot of it is beginning here. And what I mean by this is specifically Kenshin, because up until this point, Kenshin has been really just the guy that's coming in to do cool stuff, and then everybody is kind of like, oh, he's so cool, something to that effect. I mean, not as quite as dramatic as I just put it, but pretty much in the same vein. Kenshin shows up, people doubt him, he does cool things, and then everybody's like, whoa. But here we have a semblance of the thread that will have the ultimate payoff there in the Kyoto arc when he learns the final move of the Hiten Mitsurugi. I'm excited, but we'll get to that as soon as I get to it. But let's go ahead and do the chapter summary without further ado. It's the morning after Kenshin and Sanosuke had their encounter with Jin-e. Kenshin sends Sanosuke home, explaining that as he is, he cannot hope to defeat Jin-e while having to worry about the safety of others. Sanosuke relays this information to a worried Kaoru, who then goes chase after Kenshin, being afraid that she will be alone again. Kaoru finds Kenshin alone at the riverbank and loans Kenshin her ribbon to guarantee his return after the battle with Jin-e. Just after giving the ribbon, Jin-e swoops in from behind and kidnaps Kaoru.
Get mad, Batosai! Get mad! I see it! This is your woman! Get mad!
Oh, man. I remember the first time that I seen that in the anime, I was just blown away. I was completely shocked. Man, good stuff. Even in the manga, it's still good. You know it's coming, but I think you just appreciate it just a little bit more for the intensity of the scene. Just the way Jin-e swoops in from behind and kidnaps Kaoru. But we get a little bit of Jin-e's backstory here. Apparently he was a rogue Hitokiri. That's the way that I've seen him being described when watching the anime and reading here. But I guess the reason that he's a rogue Hitokiri is because he does not have an affiliate. He kind of just goes where the wind takes him. He starts off with the Shinsengumi, killing a bunch of patriots for that side, for the shogunate, and then because he killed one too many people on the wrong side, on the side of the shogunate, he goes and disappears, only to reemerge just a couple months later or something, a few months later, on the side of the ancient Shishi. And if that doesn't spell for a dangerous character, then read a little bit harder, because that spells for a very dangerous character. Somebody who you can't put in a box, somebody who you can't have a defining factor of, okay, this is who he is. We can worry about everything else, but at least we know that he's on our side. That's one of the things that made Makoto Shishio so interesting, that he was the successor to Kenshin. He was on the side of the ancient Shishi. At least in the movie, we get a scene where he just got done killing a bunch of people, and he's excited. He's saying that we won. And then they come and kill him off. But Jin-e, he's a different beast. So I just think that it just makes him a lot more of an interesting character, a lot more of an interesting villain, just because he's rogue. He don't really know where he's going to end up at. Oh, and speaking of Hitokiri, so Hitokiris like to hang out by the riverbank. Kenshin knew that if he goes hang out by the riverbank, he's going to find Jin-e there. That's really cool. I never caught this detail about the riverbanks. But it makes sense that that is where Kenshin went to go hang out. And it makes sense for Kaoru to find Kenshin at the riverbank. I don't know, I always just thought that it was kind of weird that Kaoru knew exactly where to find Kenshin, but, I mean, Sanosuke tells her. I guess these are just little details that I've either forgotten about or just completely missed. So then again, my boy Yahiko, Sanosuke is calling Kaoru and Kenshin a little bit selfish. Well, Kaoru specifically, we have this whole blooming romance between Kenshin and Kaoru. Another one of those threads that's going to have its payoff later on in the series. I think that we really, really get to see the romance of Kaoru start to develop during the Jin-e conflict. The love that she has for Kenshin is strong. But I think it really just starts here. I think she appreciated him. She had a fondness for him in the previous acts, but I think that here is where she's really cementing herself as the love interest for Kenshin. But to take it back to Yahiko, Sanosuke calls her selfish. And Sanosuke looks at Yahiko because she said that she doesn't want to be alone again. And Yahiko says, well, it's hard to compete with the number one person in Japan. But just so everybody's in the know, he's number 2 in Japan. And that makes Sanosuke by default number 3. And then to kind of swing it back to Kaoru, the whole comment, I just kind of brushed over it really quickly to explain the Yahiko joke, but the whole thing with Kaoru not wanting to be alone again, I think it's so much better here in the manga than it was in the anime. Again though, because of Kihei not being in the anime, I think that it's just another semblance of Kihei just being integral to the story rather than Gohei being by himself. Kaoru says that she doesn't want to be alone again, and that's because her father died, and because Kihei betrayed her. Like, she doesn't want to go back to that life. For one, it's just, another person left. But I think it's also more than that. I think that she's found some security in Kenshin. I think that she knows that as long as Kenshin's around, things aren't going to be bad. Well, she's found her happiness surrounded by Kenshin. But it's also just the not wanting to be alone, the uncertainty of what's going to happen when the next person that wants to take her dojo shows up, what's going to happen the next time that somebody tries to use the Kamiya Kashin in an evil way or against her, what's going to happen when, the next villainous thing occurs. So I think that that's a lot of Kaoru's anxiety, but it's also just, her falling in love with Kenshin and, deciding that she wants to always be around him. And so when she shows up to offer the ribbon and says, okay, well, if she can't stay here with him, then here, I'm going to loan you something, but just make sure you return it. And it's subtle. It's subtle in the moment. Because even Kenshin didn't get it at the time. But once she said that it's a loan, I'm expecting it to be returned, it just kind of clicks. And it's so clever. It's so nice. I mean, it ultimately doesn't matter because she gets kidnapped by Jin-e and she gets to witness the entire fight. But as far as things go, it's her extending an olive branch to Kenshin and saying, well, if she can't be there, just make sure you come back, please. I mean, that's sweet. It's touching. It's endearing. It makes me love Kaoru a lot more. And then to wrap it up, Jin-e swooped from behind. We get the whole comment about Kenshin hanging out at the riverbank. We get a panel of Jin-e's face before Kaoru shows up, and he's laughing. He's like, oh, the riverbank, ha 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 ha. The evil laugh that he does. And it's a clever bait and switch because Kenshin has locked on to somebody being behind him. He unlocks the sword from the sheath, and he's ready. He's completely mentally prepared for it to be an attack from Jin-e. And to just have the tension broken by Kaoru sneaking up on Kenshin and just giving us this great cartoon of a comic or cartoon of a panel, just breaking the entire art style for this gag here. Oh my god, I love it. And so just as the tension is broken, just as enough time has passed, this conversation between Kaoru and Kenshin happens for us to forget about Jin-e. Jin-e swoops in from behind and takes her. It's so... good stuff. Good stuff. Like I said, I really love this chapter. And so next chapter, I believe we'll have the final battle between Jin-e and Kenshin begin. I don't want to say that it's going to conclude there because I'm not even certain anymore. Not a big deal. But if you like this chapter and you want to see more, then consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll go ahead and talk about chapter 12 when we get there on Thursday. For now, what did you guys think of this chapter? What did you guys think of the analysis so far? What did you guys think of the points that I made about Kenshin and Kaoru and the ribbon, or Kaoru's anxiety over Kenshin leaving? What did you guys think? Just talk to me. I will talk to you guys in the comments below. And again, as always, I appreciate everybody who has been supporting this series since video 1, and the people who are coming from video 1 and jumping into the series. Thank you guys. Welcome. I will do my best to not disappoint. But for now, I will see you guys in video 12. Bye, chat.